Hello, YouTube. This is your boy Dede. I'm coming to you on today just talk a little bit. I don't want to say death, but I want to know what you guys think. I lost my mother uh, in 2001, in January 2001. No, excuse me, October the 3rd, 2001. And at the time, I had to be about maybe 13 years old. I was in school and I took things really, really hard because me and my mother, I want to say we were close, somewhat. I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time, but didn't quite know who to talk to about it. But I've kind of glanced at the ideas of where my head is because, I miss my mother. But this is not a typical story that may be heard of. It may be heard of in other places, but I guess not heard of in my time. My mother, at the time when she had me, she was 14 years old, and my mother did the best that she could to try to provide for me. Granted that I kind of went home to home somewhat. I had my grandparents, and then I had my aunts and uncles, but it wasn't the same if you don't have mom and especially dad, but that's a different story. Talk about that another time. You guys would definitely subscribe to my page and I'll tell you about that if you ask me about it. My father is a different character, but very soulful guy. But my mother, Nisi, she was very smart, very chocolate woman, very intriguing, and I kind of wished that I could have did better by her. But even though I was only 13, I kind of wish that what I know now, I would have tried to protect her a little more. You know, every day I beat myself up because she's not here, and I think about the things that me and her could be doing. I could be thinking about the things that me taking care of my mom or whatever, but I really, really miss her. My mother was from a place where family, I guess, wasn't that close, and her mom and dad had separated. She had been very hurt because of this situation, and I guess my mother kind of became withdrawn and didn't quite know how to handle a lot of the stresses that her parents weren't together. But however, she didn't quite know how to take care of me because of the fact that she was so young and didn't have the proper guidance. So, needless to say, speeding up, my mother passed away. She left behind 4 children. You know, my mother had 2 boys and 2 girls, and really 3 girls because one passed away. I'm really quite proud of the way I would want to say that my little brother turned out. My little brother Desmond, he's very strong. He's a mighty man, and I thank God for him. I thank God that what he did in his life, that he's college educated. He's in the army as no, he retired from the army as an investigator and sergeant and everything, and I'm really proud of him. And right now he's a crime scene investigator down in Charleston County, and I really thank God for what he's doing in his life. And I just don't know if my brother can really know that I'm proud of him because we're not that close. We're haven't lived together in years, but we never quite lived together because he felt like I had abandoned him. Now, the part when I say about my mother was young, my mother didn't quite know how to be a good mother, but she kept reaching out for love. And I guess just love in the wrong places. I don't know what the hell my mother was thinking, but I was like, damn. But every time I knew my mother was pregnant, but I was right there. I'm the oldest child. I was right there. It's like, okay, we're going to go to the hospital. We're going to do what we're going to do. But needless to say, My mother's first daughter, she's very, very bright. She lives in New Jersey, Jersey City. And I'm just waiting for God to do some miraculous things in her life because I know that I'm working on some things and I'm going to be able to make my mother proud one day because I'll be able to take care of my sister and be able to provide for them the way that I couldn't when I was younger because I wasn't able to. I was just too young to be there for them like that. But hopefully, if God give me the grant on extra life or whatever, I'll be able to be there for them financially and just physically be there and really get to know them all over again. I would love that opportunity. Now, but the topic about my mother's children and my mother's death, it took us a very long time to really get over it. And I'm really, I guess, not necessarily say 1,000% over it. Just because of the fact that when they buried her body, they now have told me about 5 years ago that they could not locate her body in the graveyard. And I've been looking for her. I've been going to that graveyard for years. And I walk it. And I kind of walk to the general area where I think I remember where she was buried. But I can't find her because there's no damn marking. Now, I'm looking for a lawyer. Anybody, if you know a recommendation for a lawyer, I would love to sue this particular funeral home that buried my mother. The graveyard has not been properly taken care of, and I kind of feel like that would kind of help with some closure because you should have some type of records to identify someone's body when it's gone and then you just can't find it. But now she has 4 children, 2 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. Hold on, I might be wrong. It's me, Jasmine, Uriah, and Monica. Okay, yeah, it's us. That's 4. So with that being said, these children never really had their mother, and yet they kind of want to go to the graveyard, especially my youngest sister. I don't know if this whole thing where my mother can't be found was why she acting out the way that she does. But I love my sister, but I have to love her from a distance so she can understand that I'm not her enemy and I'm not around you, so I can't hurt you. So whatever your fear is of, whatever the case may be, and people, she can't seem to open up to anybody. Since my mom died, she was a very young girl. My grandparents raised her, and I think they did the best that they could to raise her. We didn't grow up with a lot of money. We didn't grow up with a whole lot. We had what we had. I wore hand-me-downs, and I always knew how my family treated my brother differently. My brother is very lighter than I am, and I don't want to say that I was jealous as a kid, but I kind of felt like the treatment wasn't the same. He was 9 months old when he went to go stay with my aunt and my grandmother, and so was I. And actually, not really. I came a little later on. I came maybe about 2 years later on down south, and I went to go stay with my family. I didn't quite understand the way that they were trying to raise us, but I guess they did the best that they could for they had and what it was worth and the time that they were in, but I wasn't with it. But needless to say, I got up out of there, and my brother kind of felt like I neglected him. When my mother died, I left. I went into foster care. I went in there for a while. I did the best that I could, and I got up out of there, and I went to go live on my own and do me and everything else in life. But I've been very successful. God has been good to me. I've had awesome careers, and right now I'm doing very well. I'm a very successful guy, and I thank God for that, just because of where he's brought me from and the things that I've been through. Needless to say, I went through a big depression a little while ago, and a lot of people don't know that I shut myself out and I never talked about it. You know, I was about 200 and maybe 30 pounds. Right now, I'm about 175. And I've been maintaining this weight now for about 5 years. But a lot of people keep saying, well, wow, you lost a lot of weight. When I had my daughter, I realized that when I was married to my wife, is that I don't know what I'm doing. I know I love my daughter so much. I know I want to be there for her for the rest of my life. There's nothing that I would not do for her. I will lay my life down on the line for her because she's my little girl. She's my only little girl, and I love her. With that being said, when my mom died, I kind of felt like God gave me a little girl because it would kind of help me cope with my mom being gone. But needless to say, I had a whole lot to cope with that because I lost my grandmother Diane, when I was maybe about 8 years old. And that hurt me a lot because of the fact that right now, to this day, I don't have my grandmother and my mother. And I see all my friends, I see everybody with their moms and dads, and they get to do things with them. You know, honestly, not to say that it's fair or anything else. I'm glad that you guys have your parents, and I'm so proud that they are alive. Guys, if your parents are alive, just enjoy them for where they are. Help them. Don't give up on them. Just try to do your best, guys, because, my mother, I hate to say this, especially on YouTube, but my mother had a drug problem. My mother had an addiction problem. My mother drank a lot. My mother used to beat on me a lot when she was angry, and she was kind of out of it, but I didn't hold it to her. I knew that she was young. My grandfather used to try to say, well, she does this to you, X, Y, and Z. But that's my mother, and so what? If I was able to move on and forgive, then whatever. My mom's not here. But I kind of wish she was here because I know my mom loved me. I know that my mom loved her kids. I know that there was nothing that she wouldn't do for us. But the fact that we would have awesome conversations. Me and my mom would have great conversations later on in life where she wasn't beating me or beating anybody, but she was just in her addiction problem, but she would come and talk to me and just tell me what's going on, and I respected that. I respected that my mother came and told me what's going on before it happened. My mom was dying, and I didn't know what to do. I went to school, and I shut down. I just really shut down when my mom died because I felt like I was the closest thing to her. So to this day, when I see everybody with their moms and dads, I say, dang, I wish I had my mom. I wish she was here with me. I wish there was something that I could have did to just something that I could have had. I held my mom so hard when she died. I didn't want to let her go. My mother used to laugh. She used to joke. She left behind a one brother. He's my uncle. He's really dope. My uncle ain't really dope. We kind of close in age, but really dope. He's awesome. That's all I can say. He's young in spirit. Don't look no older than anything. But guys, I had gray hair since I was maybe 11 years old, so it's hereditary. My dad. But I really miss my mom, and I wish to God that I could just bring her back. I wish to God that he would not had let her go because she was an awesome soul and she was just so young. But dying around the age of 28 and 29 is very hard for anyone, any woman, any father to lose a daughter at that age, any grandmother to lose a granddaughter at that age, any aunt to lose a niece at that age, any son to lose a mother at that age, any daughter to lose their mother at that age. So anything for just to go down, and just so much happened to me in this family. And everybody want to just shut it out and just not talk about anything, and I don't understand any of them. But I miss my mom, and my mom was my protector. My mom was my confidant. My mom was everything to me. But I was molested in my family by my uncle. And I thought he was being a role model, and I thought he was being a father, but he wasn't. I just thought that was love, and I thought that's, whatever. But I came and told my family about it, and I guess they don't believe me, but the truth is what it is. I'm free. I lost my mother, and I can't find her in the graveyard. That's one thing unsolved. But I will not hold in the fact of what he did to me. And I will not let me be a victim of going forward, because I have to love my child and let her know that I'm going to protect her wholeheartedly. And to God be my witness, no one better not ever touch my damn child, because I will go to war for her. And I be so afraid when she gets around him, and I don't want her around him. I don't want my daughter around that man. I don't trust that man. I don't trust that man with anything. I don't trust him with my life. He called himself doing some things for me growing up later on, and I don't want him doing nothing for me. But that man touched me. That man raped me in his house on his kitchen floor. And I was a minor, and I will never forget. Shame on you. I pray his conscience beat the hell out of him. I pray your conscience get you. Man, I don't even want to curse, because I swear that God has changed me. But I've been carrying a lot of hurt for all these years. I've been carrying this burden for all these years, and I'm tired. So many stories I could tell you guys about what happened to me as a kid. Being out there, feeling left alone, being held at gunpoint, and so many other things. I just swear to God, I wish my mother was here. And my grandmother, I swear. But this is to say that all the things that's happened to me in my life later on, I swear it must have been angels watching over me, because only angels could have done it. I could only think that maybe my mother and my grandmother's working in the backlinks for me. But if there's anybody out there that's been raped and molested, some people tell you to pray in church. Some people tell you just to give it up to God. Some people tell you to tell someone. Some people tell you just to sit there. But I swear to God, guys, I cry all the time because I'm hurting as a grown man. And I don't ever want to tell my daughter that I've been raped. I don't ever want to tell my daughter that I've been through something crazy like that, because it's bullshit. I feel like I didn't even have my own life, guys. I didn't get a chance to have my own choice. Being raped as a kid over and over and over again. And you're saying, well, this happened to them too. But then this man, he came to try to fight me, y'all. He came to try to fight me. Yo, on my wedding day when I was getting married to my wife, I had, it's no secret. I'm just going to come out and say it, guys. I'm a bisexual man. And, I've had men before. And then I was trying to do right. I was in church, and I got married, and I tried to live a right life. But this man would not let it go, and he kept bringing it to my forefront. And even to this day, guys, I'm going to say, me and my wife, we are now divorced, because I'm going to write a book, guys. I'm going to write a book about everything, because my life has been through so much, and God told me to write a book, and I'm going to write a book. I tell everybody one day I will be on TV, because I'm a natural character. I'm a lovely person, and I just have so much talent in me that I'm going to let the world see. Subscribe, guys, on my page, guys, because there's so much I want to tell you guys. I've learned some awesome things that I can educate you on, to get you on a great credit path, and other things. But we'll talk about that on my next page, um, my next video, guys. Sorry, but guys, don't give up. Whatever you're going through, don't give up. I'm not saying that there's a right answer to anything. I'm not saying that there's a wrong answer to more. All I'm saying is to give yourself one day at a time to cope with whatever you're going through. I went through bad relationships because people didn't know how to love me right. And I felt like in the beginning maybe I couldn't love them right, but no, we just couldn't love each other right because of the fact that we weren't on the same page. But that's on another video. We'll talk. But guys, tell me what you think about what I should do about my mother's situation, that the fact that this funeral home lost her body and I can't locate my mom. And that would kind of help with some of the hurt and heal some of the hurt in my heart and close some of the things for her children. But you guys subscribe to my page. More to come. I'll be in better spirits. I won't be crying because I have a lot that I want to talk about with you guys. So much that I've learned in the world, and I think you guys will let them know. I've been thinking about doing a channel for quite some time, and I think this is it. To talk to America, and you guys let me know what it feels to be betrayed, I guess, by a family and no one believes you. Like, what should I do in that case? You know, my grandmother passed away in 2008, God rest her soul, and she knew that he had did it because I told her. She believed it. My other grandmother's alive, she believes it, but everybody else seemed to be very clueless. I thought about taking him on Maury, y'all. I said, I'm taking his ass on Maury. You know, they called me too. They called me, y'all. I was like, oh, but they say he's a little too damn old to take his old ass up on the show because he's 56 years old and he's diabetic and X, Y, and Z. I don't give a damn about none of that. I just want him to admit to what he did. He raped me. So I can be free. So I can move on. And people can stop calling me crazy and X, Y, and Z. I'm willing to take a polygraph test. I'm willing to do any damn thing I need to do just to prove my point and state the claim that his ass, he touched me inappropriately. He did things to me, and it hurt. His ass needed to be penalized for what he did, but he don't want to take a minute for it. But to God be the glory with him. You guys, write me. Let me know.